Hello, everyone. Just have a short and sweet episode for you today because I have a very important message that I want to deliver. Are you ready for the message? Here it goes. Just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean you have to continue doing it that way. I'll say that again. Just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean you have to continue doing it that way. Just because your family always did it that way doesn't mean that you have to. Just because your friends do it that way doesn't mean you have to. Here's the news: you can be the one who breaks the cycle. Hey there. Welcome to Be Well with Steph, the podcast. The show for women who know that personal wellness can be an actively pursued goal and who are ready to tackle building healthier daily habits with a little bit of good humor, a little bit of grace, and a lot of coffee. I'm Steph Genko, your holistic nutrition coach and your host, and I'm here to help empower you to create and maintain a healthy lifestyle you love, a lifestyle that gives you the strength, energy, and confidence to go after your wildest dreams. There's a really commonly held belief that we inherit all diseases. So we think about the fact that cancer runs in a family, that heart disease runs in a family, diabetes, whatever you want to think about when it comes to like chronic illnesses, that those are inherited, that they run in our families. And an important distinction to make is that all diseases aren't necessarily inherited. And having a disease be a genetic disease is not the same thing as having it be a hereditary disease. So if it's hereditary, that means that based off of whatever genes you pull, you're going to get that thing. It's going to be inherited. A genetic disease just means that it originates on a genetic level, that it comes from your genes, but it didn't necessarily get passed down. And we used to believe really widely that anything that was a genetic disease was inherited. And we know a lot differently now. We know that a disease can happen in your genes on a genetic level, and that doesn't mean that you are automatically destined to get it. There's a fabulous book by the author Jeffrey Bland, and it is called The Disease Delusion: Conquering the Causes of Chronic Illness for a Healthier, Longer, and Happier Life. It is a little bit research dense. It is definitely not like your light morning reading. It's more like if it's a topic you're really interested in and want to dive into and aren't worried about kind of more dense sciencey language. If you are, it's an awesome book, The Disease Delusion by Jeffrey Bland, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. If not, I feel like reading Rainbow. You can take my word for it. It's a fabulous book that really talks about the disease delusion being a couple fold. One of them being the way that we treat diseases, kind of the same. We treat them from a treatment perspective instead of a preventative perspective. But the other part being that we believe that we're going to inherit diseases when in reality, we may inherit susceptibility to a disease. We may inherit genes that could develop a disease, but we have much more control over the expression of that disease than we used to think or believe. By the expression of the disease, I mean just because you have a family history of heart disease and maybe your genes are predisposed to heart or cardiovascular related diseases, doesn't necessarily mean that those diseases are going to express themselves or that those genes are going to give you the codes for heart disease. Based on our lifestyle factors, our diet, our exercise, our stress management, and other environmental factors, we have a little bit of control over if that disease expresses itself or not. Now, I'm not saying 100% control, and obviously there's a lot of research around this in this book if that's, something you want to dive into. But we have a lot more control than we thought. It is also interesting that we think we inherit a disease, but what we often inherit are the actual lifestyle patterns themselves. We inherit our parents and our grandparents' ways of doing things. They pass those down to us, whether they mean to or not, or whether it's just something we pick up from exposure or for long term systems of doing things. But we get passed down to us certain ways of cooking. If our family is Italian and they cook a lot of hearty Italian food and there's a lot of pasta and meatballs, odds are good that those are the dishes we grow up learning how to prepare. If our family cooks with a lot of cooks by throwing a stick of butter in the pan first, we probably learned to cook by throwing a stick of butter in the pan. If Sunday mornings were designed for big sit down breakfasts or brunches and you had pancakes and French toasts and eggs and sausage and bacon, odds are great that you connect Sunday mornings or breakfast or brunch scenarios with those types of foods. So they got passed down to you, you inherited them. Same way if you grew up in a family where you had parents that exercise. If your parents were marathon runners and they prioritized movement and exercise, then odds are good that you also have some sort of exercise routine. This goes with all areas of life. It's not a guarantee, right? It's not a guarantee because we have a lot of influences from other people and from other activities and experiences. But it is the same idea that our influences are what affect us. We acquire lifestyle habits from friends or coworkers. We acquire habits from partners or from other social experiences. And those, sure, could include the way that we eat and the way that we exercise, but they could include other things like what time you go to bed and what time you wake up. If you use substances like tobacco or alcohol, if you have mindsets or beliefs around religion or around money or around things that are a priority, around work ethic. All of these lifestyle factors are passed down. Well, if you have genes that are susceptible to certain things, like we'll keep going with this heart disease example. If you are susceptible to heart disease, but you get passed down lifestyle patterns of not exercising, of not having good systems for managing your stress. If you learned how to cook from the same people who developed heart disease and you maintain all of these lifestyle practices, you have higher odds of your genes expressing those diseases that they were predisposed to. Here's the thing. You get to pick what you keep from what is passed down to you. You get to decide what things continue to get passed on and what things stop with you. And that's why I called this episode, You Can Be the One Who Breaks the Cycle. Just because everyone in your family cooked a certain way doesn't mean that you have to. And we talk about this idea of first generation related to a lot of accomplishment type things or achievements, right? So they might say, I was a first generation American, or I was the first one in my family to go to college, or I'm the first person, we're the first generation to do something else related to start a business. I was the first one to do that. Well, you can break the cycle in a lot of ways in your whole lifestyle. Why not break the cycle and be that person, be that first generation when it comes to your health? Just because your parents notoriously ran through the drive-thru and picked up fast food doesn't mean that you have to. Just because you grew up with a group of friends who had a ton of partying habits doesn't mean that you have to have them now. Just because your extended family bottled up their emotions instead of dealing with them doesn't mean you can't be the first one to make a move and go see a therapist. Just because your family all has had desk jobs, you've had decades and decades of 9-to-5s, doesn't mean that you can't join a gym or develop a consistent workout routine. You get to pick. And how cool is that? Now, I said it's cool. I did not say it's necessarily easy to break the cycle. It's not easy, especially if the way that we do things are so ingrained into our routines. And it's not easy if it require mindset shifts first or changes to our core beliefs or priorities. That stuff's tough. It's tough to sort out, but it is possible. And the whole point, I said this was a short and sweet message today. The whole point of this message is to remind you that that power is yours, that that control is yours, that you can be the one to make a different move, to make a different choice, to decide to do things a different way and to break the cycle. That power's within your control. It might take work, might take learning new strategies. It might take unlearning old strategies or habits. It might take support or assistance from a coach, a counselor, a therapist, a doctor, right? It may take some effort, but it's possible. So today I offer you the freedom and the excitement to know that you are not destined for whatever the generations before you were destined for. You have the opportunity today to pick, to decide what is going to continue to get passed down to the generations after you, and to decide what stops with you and also what starts with you. Before I let you go for today, I am so excited to share something with you, and I hope you'll stick around for just a couple minutes and listen to it. My brand new one-on-one coaching program is officially open. This is a individualized wellness lifestyle coaching program that is designed especially for millennial women who want to feel in control of their health. Raise your hand for a second if that is you. Are you a millennial woman who wants to be more in control of your health? I'll go a little bit further and say this is for you if you are tired of diet rules and workout plans and cookie cutter programs that you've tried and tested and that leave you feeling defeated. This is for you if you want daily habits and routines that work for your life long term, that aren't just quick fixes, especially when it comes to how you nourish yourself or what your relationship with food is like, building exercise habits, improving your sleep health or your morning rituals. You don't want somebody's cookie cutter program you're going to try for 21 days and be done. You want to build systems and routines and habits that work for your life. Dare I say, the last program. You're looking for energy and confidence and self-awareness. The idea that it's not motivation, it's dedicated, isn't cutting it for you anymore. Like, you get it. You need to be dedicated. But how? How do you become dedicated and consistent when you're trying to build these new habits? And if this makes you feel a little bit stressed out, if you are anxious about the idea of making healthy changes, maybe you could just use a trusted friend in your pocket every day that helps guide and support you along your journey. And that's what I'm here for. And that's what this program is for. It's no longer just about getting to your health goals. It's about creating a healthy lifestyle. It's not just about nutrition or exercise, but it's about being in control of your well-being. And that control over your well-being is able to bring you an increase in self-confidence, the ability and desire to go after what you want in life, and the energy and self-awareness to make those dreams happen. So I'm so excited to offer you this coaching program. It is a combination of one-on-one sessions and connection, lots of connection in between those one-on-one sessions where you're able to chat and ask your questions, where we can work through day-to-day challenges to building habits and mindset shifts, stuff that you're thinking about as you work to create these new routines with as much support as you need. There's also a bonus element this time around where working through this one-on-one program with me will also get you added to the Be Well Together membership automatically for the 3 months we work together, and then also for a month afterwards. So you have that support through additional videos, recipes, discussion forum, my workshops. Like, you get the whole shebang. Does that sound exciting? If that sounds exciting to you, I would love for you to head over to bewellwithsteph.com/work-with-me and find the wellness lifestyle coaching there. If you're not totally sure, it sounds kind of cool, but you have questions and you want to see if it's a good fit for you, At bewellwithstuff.com/workwithme, you can also find free discovery calls. So a place where we can connect, we can talk, get to know each other a little bit, and see if this kind of program would be right for you in transforming your wellness lifestyle and gaining control of your healthy habits. So again, that's bewellwithstuff.com/workwithme. Thank you so much for listening to Be Well With Steph, the podcast. When there are a million things that you could be doing, I appreciate your choosing to hang out here. And I am proud of you for continuing to work on your own wellness journey. I invite you to head over to bewellwithstuff.com for the details from this episode, my blog, upcoming events, and lots of other resources. If you enjoyed today's show, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Be Well With Steph everywhere you like to hang out on social media, so come on over and say hi. Until next time, my friends, be well.